This is why you need to stop these two things. These very two things: watching adult films and drinking alcohol. These two things are stopping you from the things that you need to do. They are actually stopping you from the very thing that you want to do in life. It's fucking up your brain and it's also messing up your life. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Adult films are the worst things or the worst videos in on earth to watch. I don't know why it's legal, but it is bad. It is the most disgusting thing that you should be watching. You should be engaging your mind in. And if it's messing up with your brain, that means it's messing up with your dopamine levels. If your dopamine levels are fucked up, your motivation is ruined as well. And the same thing goes with alcohol as well. When you drink alcohol, when you consume alcohol, even though you're a chronic user or you drink alcohol occasionally, it still messes up with your motivation. It still messes up with your dopamine levels. I mean, they make us super excited when we're watching them, right? Or when we're engaging in them, if that's the right word to use, right? When we're watching them or when we're drinking alcohol, we even do this simultaneously. Some people might be drinking alcohol right now and be watching that shit, right? It gets you so high. It's very similar to taking crack cocaine. It's too much for the brain. It's too novel. And that's why whenever you watch it, and especially when you ejaculate, there's always gonna be a crash. It's like once you do it, it's like you just drop it, right? You drop it and you just feel like, yeah, I don't want to watch this anymore, right? Because now you've gotten so high that there's gonna be a drop, and that drop is where you feel that pain, and that's how there's this thing called dopamine baseline. When it gets too high, you're gonna drop below baseline, right? So you always want to remain at baseline. You don't want to get too high. That's why drinking alcohol is not good as well, because when you get too high, you're going to drop below baseline, and that you're going to feel pain, and that pain you're going to feel is the need to want to get back to that mood where you were before. You want to get back to at least baseline or even above baseline, right? And that's why it's not really good to drink alcohol. It's not really good to watch all these things, because literally you're messing up with what would potentially take you to the next level, which is your motivation and your drive in life. That's the thing. That's what these activities do to you. Like they take that motivation away. Like I can remember, like when I was engaging in those activities, like when I was way younger, I man, like, and now looking at what my life is right now and how like exciting, powerful, like the mind is right, full of energy and life. And I look back to those years, or just few years I watched those things and engaged in activities like drinking. I'm like, man, I was missing out, right? But again, I think man has to go through that phase. You kind of have to, you pretty much don't have to. If you're watching this video right now and you haven't had that, like you're not addicted to it, or you watch it occasionally and stuff like that, it's not really a problem. I was watching it, like I wasn't a chronic user of this, but I know the effect it had on me at the time, right? Just looking back at what life is right now and how exciting it is and how energetic it is and how just more blissful and more pleasurable it is right now, and looking back at those moments I used to watch that, man, looking back at it, I'm like, damn, like nothing, because once you engage in those activities, you become, it's just, there's no life in you. Like you don't have energy, because the thing about watching all these things is that when you engage in all these activities, is that the only pleasurable thing would be to watch. It's your brain has gotten so it's so used to that novelty, right? Nothing else, like taking a walk would not be exciting. It's not pleasurable. Going to the gym will not be pleasurable. Talking to a girl will not be that pleasurable. If you're even going to be talking to a girl, right, it's gonna be you're going to be talking to her. She's going to. You're not going to be talking to her like you're not going to be enjoying that moment with her. Or the only thing that's going to be in your head is probably taking off her clothes and just like do all those madness you've seen watching all those stuff, right? So nothing is really going to be pleasurable in your life except from that novel activity, which is watching adult films. It's so novel to the brain that nothing else should be that novel because you've wired your brain to such novelty that nothing else in life is no like pleasurable anymore. The only pleasurable thing would be that novel activity, and which is not normal to the brain to see. You know what I'm saying? So the thing about watching all these things is that nothing becomes pleasurable anymore. Talking to a girl, just having good time with a girl will not be that pleasurable. Going to the gym, just doing normal activities will not be pleasurable. So there's no life in you anymore. Second of all, what the thing about watching adult films is that it ruins your motivation, right? Because now you've experienced this novel thing. Nothing is that pleasurable. Only that thing is pleasurable. So especially when you are constantly ejaculating, you're not going to have life in you because that's life source you're just wasting off. So you're not going to have energy. You're not going to have mood. So how are you going? Where's the drive? Where's the drive going to come from? No mood. You don't have drive. No focus. No will. Will is gone because you lack the discipline to control yourself. It's discipline to not watch those things. How are you going to attack life? How are you going to attack those goals? How are you going to commit to saying, oh, I'm going to go to the gym consistently this year and build my ideal physique? How am I going to work on, that business I've been trying to work on? How are you going to do that? Because now you don't have will, you don't have the strength, you don't have energy, you don't have life. Nothing is pleasure. You can't go out and connect. You can't go out and, spend time with a girl and enjoy yourself. You can't do any of those things anymore because this thing right here has had your mind convinced that this is the only novel thing that it is to do, right? So motivation is gone, and alcohol does the same as well when you consume it, even occasionally. Because see, the thing about setting goals, right? You set a goal, you want to remain like a kid. This is where you want to remain childlike. I can still remember. And looking back again, I'm looking back at life right now. Being away from watching all those things, right? Being away from watching adult films, being away from consuming alcohol. This is what I've learned. I'll give you guys this is codes. These are codes. I'm going to be dropping codes. Yeah. So I used to be looking back at my life right now and how exciting it is right now, and looking back at when I was probably like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, maybe 12, 13. I used to be, before, puberty came in, and we just, even before puberty came in, and I found myself watching this bullshit. Like, I don't even know how I came across it, right? Before all that, before we started like having a thing for the desire for a woman. Before then, I remember this thing. Like, I think when I was making this video, I was just kind of trying to remember or coming up with the idea for this video. I was remembering back then, I used to be a very active person. Like, I know the day house. I have to be outside with my boys playing. We're sprinting. Back then we used to sprint on the streets, like with my friends. We riding bicycles, we playing football, like just being young. I can still remember that time. I had no fear, before fear became a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like before we started thinking about fear. Like, I had no fear, man. I was just out here living life. You know what I'm saying? Just waking up every morning, maybe go to school, do that bullshit, and I come back and play with my boys, man. We used to just play football, ride bicycle, just be young. And looking back right now, I feel that energy again because now I've with my training right now, I jog outside. This is what pretty much what I used to do. I used to play ball outside. Now I used to play ball outside, sprint, ride bicycles, just be active. The sun is hitting me, and I'm back to doing that now. And I realized that, man, this is how I used to feel. Like right now, no fear anymore. Like less anxiety, zero anxiety. Before anxiety became a thing, you know what I'm saying? So now looking back at how exciting life is right now, yeah. Back then we don't used to watch those things. Think about it. We don't watch. You know what I'm saying? If you're an active boy, if you're a strong man, like if you're active with your friends, you know, riding bike, falling, just just doing dumb shit, like just being risky, fearless. But we used to be outside. We don't used to be on our computers, man. Used to be outside and life used to be we had no fear. So I'm looking back right now, I'm sprinting right now, weightlifting, just being active, running outside, getting sun. I feel I feel alive. Like I feel like that my young self then. Like no fear. There's less anxiety, zero anxiety these days. Like zero anxiety. Just have to do this. I get it done. You know what I'm saying? Do this, do that. And I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So there's less anxiety. So back then we don't used to watch all these things. We don't used to watch fucked up shit. We used to drink alcohol. The thing about it is that if you look back at our young age, we had our dopamine receptors or whatever they call it, or dopamine secretary or neuron secretary intact. Like life used to be exciting. Like our dopamine levels were on point. It wasn't messed up by our phones, the images we see on our phones, or the adult films we watch, or the alcohol we consume. It wasn't messed up by that. If we had a dream back then, I can remember, if we had a dream, or if we wanted to make something happen, we just imagine it and imagine it over and over and again, over and over again. And before you know it, like we take actions, we keep there's this fire in us. You know what I'm saying? So I can feel it right now, and again, from experience of just taking years away from that thing, I can see how bad these two things are. If you don't have life source in you, desire, if you don't have it, that's why NoFap is quite a big thing, because it works. You know what I'm saying? Like, because now you are filled with energy, right? You're filled with a lot of power in you, right? You're not giving it away. You can use that energy that you have within you, cultivate it, and create something out of it. It's such a powerful thing. It's such a powerful thing, because now you're alive. You're not constantly just giving it away. You're not constantly giving it away. So when I was younger and looking at my life right now and how exciting it is, the thing about it is that none our dopamine levels were on point back then, and we could dream, we had energy, we had life in us, and we could live without no fear, and just be us, right. The thing about alcohol and the thing about watching adult films is that it takes away that desire, the motivation. If you don't have your desire on point, because you need for you to have for you to attack the things that you want, right? You need that desire, you need that burning desire, right? Burning desire. Then you have, which you can equate desire with motivation as well, right? Your dopamine levels on point. And also, if you have all this on point, you need focus, because you're obviously distracted every time, because when you take alcohol, there's a high, there's always going to be a drop, right? The drop is the pain you're going to feel, the stress, pain, stress, pain and stress. So pain and stress equates to wanting to come back to that mood that you were feeling before. And how do you want to come back? You want to drink more to return back to baseline. So if your mood is messed up, the goals that you set, when you think about it, when you think about those goals that you set, anytime you think about it, you're going to be thinking about it in a moody way. You're not going to be thinking about it like it's burning. But now you're moody. When you drink alcohol, when you drink it, you get that buzz, but there's always going to be a pain. You're going to drop down to baseline, right? And that's you feeling a type of way. You're going to be moody. You want to return back to baseline. So whenever you think of your goals, it's not going to be clear. You're not going to be, because you're moody. If you're moody, your thoughts are not going to be clear. The plans you set out is not going to be clear. It's not going to be clear to you. So you always want, and if it's not clear, that means you're not focused. So if focus is gone, if your motivation is gone, desire, life force, motivation, drive, and willpower is gone, what are you? What do you have? See, again, it's something that's going on right now. The world is becoming even, like, things are even getting harder with inflation and everything like that. To succeed these days is hard. Not gonna lie, it's hard. So, see what's mind blowing? It's hard to succeed, right? Even though you put these vices, like all these bad things, this watching adult films and drinking alcohol, even though you put them aside, like you stay disciplined and you stay away from them, my brother, it's still hard. You know what I'm saying? Just imagine you now having this disrupting the flow of your work or the rhythm, or just messing up with your motivation and drive in life. If you have this thing just confusing you and just holding you back, and life alone is hard. Like, that's like double the hardness to get to where you want to go. So by removing this, you now have discipline and control over things to a certain degree, and you can move, you can push forward, right? You can push forward. So getting rid of finding the discipline to stay away from this thing, these two things, alcohol, adult fumes. Let's not use that. Let's not adult fumes. Staying away from these things can change your life, like to a certain degree, and help propel you to where you need to go. Because some people are addicted to this stuff. In order for them to cope, they need to drink. Again, if you're the type of person, if you're the type of person that needs alcohol to kind of deal, you have a problem. You have a problem. And if you're the type of person that don't need alcohol, you have an edge. You have an edge, because everyone needs something now to kind of be okay. The bro needs alcohol to kind of, to be all right. Like, if he's dealing with a bad day, he needs to drink. But you, on the other hand, don't need that. You can, okay, cool, I see what's going on. It's hard right now. Okay, cool. I didn't have a good day, but no, I'll deal with it. And you do that over and over and over and over again. Your ability to deal with stress will be amplified. Like, you can deal with stress, but the other guy can't deal with stress, but you can. So the real question is, how do you quit drinking alcohol, and how do you quit watching adult films? How you quit is just to stop. You just stop it. But how do I do it? I'm so used to doing this. You know what I'm saying? What would make me just stop? I think the thing that would make you just stop is just having the understanding that this actually fucks or messes up with your mood, your motivation and drive in life, your energy force. It messes up with that. Me, I love having a good mood throughout the day, throughout the week. And I've noticed that if I have a good mood throughout the week, I'm a much happier person. I deal with people with much more kindness. I'm at peace with myself. I'm at peace with others. So I love that energy. I love that feeling. So I don't want that ruined by me drinking alcohol, me watching that. Because if I know for a fact that if I can sustain myself by not watching all these things, my life will be more energetic. Will be filled with much more excitement. There's nothing like depression. There's nothing like sadness. And you feel sad sometimes, but you snap out of it real quick. You just, because all this while you've been happy, so you can find a happy place still. So I just stay away from it because of that reason. My mood, my motivation, my focus, and drive in life. I just want to be filled with that excitement, filled with that energy. Whatever life throws at me, I still want to like attack it with no fear. So that for me is enough reason to stay away from it, because I know watching that is not going to do me any good. It's just an understanding, and I have an understanding that this is not good. Like, this messes up with your brain, and that messes up. If your mood is fucked, if your mood is messed up, your decision making will be messed up as well. So why would I want to do that? Why would I want to make bad decisions? Why would I want to be in a moody mood? So for some people, there are some people that can drink and still make good decisions and stuff like that. But I think for me, I've learned to stay away from that, from alcohol and watching all those things, to be able to deal with life with much more energy, less fear, anxiety, and just be fearless. So for me, that is enough reason. Mood, my motivation, my ability to deal with stress is just better. So that is enough reason for me to stay away from it. So I think if you just have an understanding, and if you're just tired of not having energy, if you're tired of not like being, if you're tired of not having motivation or drive in life, if you're just tired of just being weak, that should be enough reason for you to stop this and see what's on the other side. That is enough reason. That's how to quit this thing. Just have an understanding that this is not good. Has it done any good to me? No. You might as well quit it. So yeah, that's the video. Like, subscribe, share with a friend. Peace, man.